Welcome to Wildcat All Access. My name is Nathan Maxwell. I'm joined alongside Jake Hood. Jake, big week for Wilson Central Athletics. This week, a road trip to Hendersonville will determine the fate of the back end of the season for Wilson Central football.
Nathan, coming off a tough loss, 16-0 against Gallatin, but really defensively, it's a win for Wilson Central, holding a D1 bound back in Spencer Briggs to 85 yards on 26 carries.
Absolutely. They played stellar up front defensively last week. They didn't have what they really wanted offensively. Of course, we had a little bit of a, I don't want to call it an excuse. Xavier Ali was out. Chavez was out. A couple of guys here and there that were banged up that just took the week off that we're going to get back. We're going to be better than ever this week. We've got Ali coming back out. Tyler Chavez should be eligible to play again. Right now, it's a little bit of a shaky thing, though, because when you go to Hendersonville, yes, they aren't having the season that most people expected them to. They are still a very tough football team to play, especially when you're in their house.
Traveling to Hendersonville in their house on their homecoming, you got to expect a tough game. The only thing that we have going for us is they graduated talent last year. Kincaid's gone, Hohenbrink's gone. We have a shot this year, and Nathan, this could be our second region win.
It could, and remember, the second region win means postseason is going to happen. It's one way or another. We've got Hendersonville coming up, Laverne overfall break, back at home. That should be a pretty interesting game to see how Laverne comes out and plays defensively with the athletes that they've acquired. I'm not too worried about that game at the moment. We've got Lebanon and we've got Station Camp. So right now the back end of the season is not as tough as it probably could be for Wilson Central.
Looking ahead to Laverne next Friday, the MyTV 30 game here at Wilson Central. They played Lebanon tough. Lebanon beat them 28-27, and that's the best I've seen Laverne play in several years.
And we got to remember, Lebanon is without Crite, and Lebanon is kind of having to figure themselves out again. They're kind of having to I guess, find their own identity. Because Crite was really one of the difference makers on that football team.
And I think they've really taken it to DeQuante Shannon this year. Because he's pretty much built like C.J. Hatchett, but he can absolutely fly around the edge.
He can. He came out with over 100 rushing yards last week in the second half alone, so he is definitely something to watch for Wilson Central football.
We'll look ahead to volleyball as well as the district tournament. We'll be here at Wilson Central next Monday and Wednesday as the Wildcats get a first round bye.
Regular season district champions, they come in, probably going to play Laverne first. Right now, that does not look to be the toughest game for them that we've had all year, but you never really know when it gets time for postseason play.
I do believe that they will face the winner of Smyrna and Laverne. Smyrna was the 4 and Laverne was the 5. And it's going to be a great district tournament as the powerhouses, Wilson Central, Mount Juliet, Lebanon. It's probably going to be one or two of those three teams in the championship.
We also have a senior night coming up for soccer here. Tomorrow night, Smyrna coming to Wilson Central High School. That should be a relatively fun matchup. Wilson Central has had sort of a shaky start to Coach McCarty's reign as head coach, but they've sort of started figuring things out here in the past couple of weeks.
They're really starting to get together. They've had 2 big wins over Laverne. And the last time that they went to Smyrna, I believe it was a 6-0 loss. They're looking to rebound against them on a big senior night.
Well, we know Smyrna is never really an easy team to beat. Soccer-wise, they've always got the athletes that can really carry the team, especially in district play. And when you're on the road, it's sort of a different environment. You're not really used to it. And I don't know, I feel like tomorrow night's going to be slightly different in that respect.
It's going to be a different atmosphere as we just took a tough 7-1 loss against Mount Juliet last night. And looking to rebound off of that. Senior night's right around the corner, and this could be where the Lady Cats look to leave the season on a high note.
They could. They're going to come out, they're going to play probably harder than they've played all season just because they know what's at stake at this point. And I expect a fun game tomorrow night.
It definitely will be, as like you said, first-year head coach McCarty. Just not the season she really wanted, but they're starting to put the pieces together. They've got a young team with a lot of talent.
They do. So tomorrow night, senior night here at Wilson Central High School. You can see that game live on the NFHS network. Friday night on the road, the Hendersonville Commandos for their homecoming. That should be a very interesting game in region. Be sure to watch that live on the NFHS Network as well. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll be joined by athletic trainer Coach Allison here on Wildcat All Access.
Ken Nelson Jr. has been a real estate agent for over 5 years. As Blackwell Realty and Auctions top producer, he has over $70 million in sales. Ken knows his business and would love to help you with all your real estate needs. Remember, whether you're buying or selling, if you really want to win, you'd better sign with Ken. Give him a call at 615-566-3452 or email him at winwithken1@gmail.com. Have a great day, friends.
1, 2, 3.
Let that antenna point toward the.
Okay. What about
Welcome
now?
back to Wildcat All Access. We're joined by athletic trainer Coach Allison. And Coach, it's been really an electric start to athletics this year for Wilson Central.
Yeah, it really has. It's been a great start. Started back in August and everything.
We know you are coming in and really getting the guys and the gals back on track. You know, after the summer, they probably weren't working out same pace that they are now. How's that been, getting everybody back on track and getting them to the point that they need to be for success?
Well, it depends on what team I'm dealing with. From wrestling, tennis, cross country, soccer, women's soccer right now. Volleyball is really strong right now. Rehab-wise, strength-wise, everybody's doing really well. Football team has done really, really well of listening to instructions and following rehab protocols. And right now they're doing well.
Because we've been really, really fortunate this year to not have as many injuries as we have in the past. And I just kind of want to talk about that from behind the scenes, kind of your standpoint on it, is we really haven't seen all that many injuries.
We've been really, really fortunate, knock on wood. Like I said, the kids have been really responsive for the bumps and bruises to come in there and see the athletic trainer. If I'm not in there, our new athletic trainer, Peyton Asbell, is our new athletic trainer here at Wilson Central. He's doing a real good job. I've been able to be an interim athletic trainer, trying to get the kids in and out and getting them out on the field where they need to be so we can practice.
Yeah. And just overall for Wildcat Athletics, we've had a phenomenal fall so far.
Yes, absolutely. I take pride in a lot of the strength conditioning that we do here because I feel like on the front end, if we're very progressive, everything else will work itself out in athletics.
And you know as well as I do, even for spring sports, it doesn't start in February. It starts August 1st.
Absolutely. We're ground running. I mean, we're on the ground running from day one here at Wilson Central because besides golf, I do have some golf athletes that come in and do strength conditioning. Been fortunate enough, they, knock on wood with them, they've done real well and healthy, and that's shown because their season actually starts right before school starts. And then we have football is really, really cranked up by then, and they're doing real well. Very happy.
And very fortunate to have a much better start to the year for the football team as we
absolutely.
did last year.
Absolutely.
Coming off a 3-7 year last year, coming into 4-2 this year, looking to Hendersonville. I just want to get your thoughts rolling into their homecoming. What do you expect out of that night?
Well, I feel like that our football team can pull this out. It'll be a close ball game, but I feel like that with the preparations that they do throughout the week, Coach Dedman setting the defense the way he does, they have a great chance of pulling this ball game out.
They really do. And this was the stretch that I was worried about, Mount Juliet, Gallatin, Hendersonville. That's the toughest three-game stretch in pretty much all of the mid-state.
Yes, we are running the gauntlet right now, and it's very, very tough right now. We got to keep our kids healthy. That's the biggest issue from Monday to Thursday, from rehab, strength conditioning, keeping these guys healthy so they can participate on Friday night.
Definitely.
We know coming off that Mount Juliet game a couple weeks ago, there were some, not really injuries, but they were banged up a little bit. They were having to kind of get back on track, slow down, try to stay healthy. We know we were without Xavier Ali last week offensively. We know we've had the issue with Tucker Wilson, who's probably out for the remainder of the season, we assume at this point, and Tyler Chavez banging his knee up a little bit in that Mount Juliet game. How's that really affecting the way you're approaching
those two guys are extremely key components in our offense. Chavez, good lineman, and of course Ali, one of our best running backs here at Wilson Central. These guys have got to play up to their potential for this week.
It looks like they should be ready to go. They're both talking, and they both seem pretty excited here in the building.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be an exciting time this Friday night. Of course, you can see that live on the NFHS Network. Subscribe today to see that live. You can follow us on Twitter at WCSN16 for live updates as well. We're going to take a quick break, and when we are back, we will be joined by athletic principal here at Wilson Central High School, Mr. Chip Bevis. So don't go anywhere. You're watching Wildcat All Access.
Take your kid's birthday party to new heights this summer at Urban Air in Northeast Nashville. Activate awesome with virtual reality, Spin Zone Wipeout, and our Warrior Course. Get up and get fly on the Skyrider, ropes course, and climbing walls. Urban Air Adventure Park is located at 4331 Old Hickory Boulevard in the Grandwood Shopping Center. Book your birthday party today at urbanairnenashville.com.
Tired of calling a bunch of companies for your residential maintenance? Well, not anymore. Call Estes Contracting. They handle all residential needs. They are licensed and insured, locally owned and operated, and known for their trusted work and fair prices. From roofing to flooring and everything in between, you name it, they can do it. Give them a call today for your free estimate, 629-200-8142. Fix it all with one call.
Welcome back to Wildcat All Access. We're joined by athletic principal Mr. Chip Bevis. And Mr. Bevis, really an exciting year here. We've got a lot changing and a lot growing at Wilson Central athletic-wise.
Yeah, we do. It's always a work in progress. You know, we try to keep growing and looking at what we've done and seeing if there's ways we can make it better. And one of the things we've done is add Coach Jennings as AD, and then giving me a different role as athletic principal. So far, I believe it's working well. I know it is for me. I've enjoyed it, and I think that we are able to see that the organization of everything, having different people in place and different roles, is helping out.
And just looking at that position as a whole, stepping down as an AD, sort of like an athletic principal position, like you said. Just, I know that the AD is a lot of scheduling. What is your primary role as the athletic principal?
Right. Well, the AD pretty much does the day-to-day operation type stuff. For example, if there's a Friday night football game, the AD would be responsible for making sure the officials are here, that the visiting team knows where the locker room is, knows where to park the buses, those kind of things. Gets the gates open, make sure the money is there, the tickets are there. My role as athletic principal is pretty much overseeing the athletic department, handling issues that may come up from time to time, dealing with coaches, different aspects that Coach Jennings as the AD may bring to me to handle. And so not as much the day-to-day hands-on operations of getting events up and running, but overseeing and handling the issues within the department.
We know the transition has happened relatively quick, and it's worked fairly well so far. We know moving forward, there's a lot changing now. We've got a couple new coaches coming in, especially basketball once we get to wintertime. Coach McCarty, Coach Lerno's still relatively new in her tenure. How's the relationships really working when it comes to working with an athletic principal and an athletic director as opposed to one singular component?
I think it's actually working a little bit better for the new people because they haven't been around to know any different. And so they're coming on board, and this is all they really know at Wilson Central. It's what we have in place now. So that seems to be very seamless. They know to go to me for the issues that should come to me, and Coach Jennings is there in support of them, helping them get their events set up and handling the day-to-day issues. The transition probably is a little tougher for those coaches. Say, for example, Coach Ford, Coach Kramer, Coach Devin, some of those guys, some of the old hats who have been around here a long time, and have been used to the way things have been. It's always a little difficult when there's change for people who have been around and they're used to the way things have been to change over. But everybody has seemed to be on board and are adjusting to it.
Well, before we go, I want to get a quick opinion from you about Friday night. We know we've got a big in-region game with Hendersonville coming off of 2 straight losses. What's your opinion on the state of Wilson Central football right now, just in general?
I have been very, very pleased with this season. Going into this season, I really didn't know what to expect. I definitely didn't expect to start at 4-0. And so that was pleasantly surprising to have that. We'll take that any day. If you would have asked me before the season started at this point, if we could be 4-2, I would have taken it 10 times out of 10. The 2 losses that we have had, are 2 really, really good football teams, 2 good programs that are having really good seasons. I think going into the Hendersonville week, I think this is a game that we should be able to compete in. I believe this is one, before the Mount Juliet game, looking at the 3-game stretch of Mount Juliet, Gallatin, and Hendersonville, out of those 3, I would have said probably our best chance to compete and have a chance to go out and have a win would probably be Hendersonville. And I still feel the same. I feel like if we go out there and we play our best ball, we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, we don't beat ourselves by penalties and turnovers and things like that. We go out there and we play good, sound football. I think we can be in the game and have a chance to win at the end.
And we know that we have a little bit more of a chance than we did last year with Hendersonville. Graduating Drew Hunbury, graduating Garrett Kincaid. But I want to look back to Gallatin last Friday night, holding Spencer Briggs, an SEC caliber back, to 85 yards on 26 carries. That's still a defensive win for Wilson Central.
Absolutely. And I think as far as defensively, if we can have the same performance from our defense Friday night and we can get our offense back on track and put some points on the board, I think our chances are pretty good.
I think they really are.
But we know last year with Hendersonville, the Commandos used a second half surge to kind of carry through and finish out that game. We know this year they don't have the same offensive firepower, at least they haven't showed it just yet. Of course, they have played some relatively tough guys. They've got Oakland at the start of the season that kind of put a damper on their morale probably, and it's really set the tone for the way they've changed and developed, with a second-year head coach in James Beasley. What do you expect to see out of them offensively, knowing what they've done so far this season?
Hendersonville is going to be Hendersonville. They have their style of football. You always know what to expect when you face them. It's going to be hard-nosed, tough football. It's one of those games afterwards. All of our players will know they've been in a fight. They've been in a battle. And so you're going to have to go out there and earn everything. There's no doubt starting the season off against Oakland the way they did and then have a devastating loss against Lebanon within the last minute, losing by a single point, I think it was. Those kind of things are hard to overcome, but I believe that they're the kind of program that can battle through it. We're definitely going to have our hands full.
They did lose to Lebanon 21-20. Game-stealing interception ended that game. Of course, that was the game that Shannon had over 100 yards in the second half after starting with, I believe, less than 50 in the first. So Lebanon also with a very powerful offense is going to be a fun game to watch later on in the season. But for now, Friday night, Hendersonville, we said it before, you can watch that game on the NFHS network. But we'd like to thank you for joining us. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be joined by Ms. Shipman here, a principal at Wilson Central High School, right when we come back on Wildcat All Access.
Some people just have a knack for being there when you need them the most. Like your third grade classmate who sticks up for you against that bully. The neighbor who gives you a jump start. And the friend who chases away that flock of geese at your outdoor wedding. Your State Farm agent has your back too, through good times and the not so good. And who's got your agent's back? State Farm, the company people have trusted for more than 90 years. We're here to help life go right.
Call Jeff Gannon today at 615-773-9000. Again, that's 615-773-9000.
Dr. McCutcheon is a board-certified family medicine physician who lives in Mount Juliet with his wife Lee and young son James. He provides care at St. Thomas Medical Partners in the Providence area in Mount Juliet. Dr. McCutcheon is experienced in pediatrics, acute care, chronic disease management, and many office-based procedures, including injections for musculoskeletal pain and removal of skin lesions. He is currently taking new patients. Walk-ins are welcome through the Express Care Clinic, and same-day appointments can be scheduled online at stthomasdoctors.com.
Welcome back to Wildcat All Access, joined now by Assistant Principal Ms. Shipman. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me here. It has been nothing but a pleasure to hang out with you guys on this beautiful set. So thank you for having me.
Jake, you got a question for Ms. Shipman earlier this morning?
And the first thing that I wanted to start out with this morning is it's been all around the local news. The Nashville Stars, the Tennessee Stars, whatever you want to call them, that proposed stadium is going to be right next to Nissan Stadium on the Cumberland River. What are your thoughts on it?
I think the way that Middle Tennessee is booming right now, I think it's a great idea. However, I do not feel that it would serve its best purpose in the Titans parking lot. I feel the way that Nashville is growing, let's branch out. Come to Wilson County. Come to the tip of Wilson County. Help us to generate some of that revenue and bring in more people to this area. So I do not feel that it would best serve Nashville and the Nashvillians by putting it in the Titan Stadium. I would like for them to branch out more.
And we know that First Tennessee Park was just built 3 or 4 years ago,
Yes.
and with bringing the MLB team into Nashville, the Sounds would more than likely relocate.
Yes.
And it may not be the most financially stable idea, but the baseball, I guess, fan base that's grown around Middle Tennessee, it may not be a bad idea to have an MLB team.
Well, the Nashville Sounds are a very intricate part of Nashville. It is a part of who we are. It is a part of our culture, and it ultimately has its stick on Nashville. So I would love to see the Nashville Sounds stay here because it is a part of who we are, and it's something that we're known for. So with the MLB team coming, I just don't feel that Nashville will be a good place for them. I would like to see them come to Wilson County because we have an abundance of land out here, and the way that Wilson County is growing off of the charts, it would do nothing but the best for our community here.
And it's something similar to what the Atlanta Braves did in Georgia. They're not in Atlanta. They're kind of more in the Alpharetta area.
That's right.
But coming out to Wilson County, it's still just a 20-minute drive down the road from Nashville.
Absolutely.
It's not out of the question.
Absolutely, and especially if they come on the tip of Mount Juliet, it's actually 12 minutes from downtown. So I think that they would have a greater fan base if they pushed out to this area. It would give other people from the Knoxville area, Chattanooga, easy access to come here to Wilson County to view a National Baseball League. So I think that it would best serve them by coming to Wilson County.
We know right now the professional sports world, if you will, is really starting to boom in Nashville in general. We've got the NFL team, we've got NHL. The only things we really don't have in Nashville right now are NBA and MLB now with the addition of the MLS team coming in 2020.
Yes.
So right now with the proposed MLB stadium, what are the chances, in your opinion, we get a professional baseball team in Nashville or in the Nashville area?
I don't foresee it. I do not foresee it coming to Nashville in the future. However, I think, in 10 or 20 years, maybe. And I do not feel that they will put it downtown because downtown is already congested enough. So I would hope, again, that they would branch out and look to other areas to help generate that revenue for this area. So I do not foresee that passing because, as you said, we've spent so much on the Nashville Sound Stadium, the First Tennessee Stadium, and I just don't feel that would be a good economic decision.
And one thing that you came to me earlier this week about is we've seen female officials, we've seen female players at the high school and collegiate level, female head coaches in either a Power 5 school or the NFL. Just the chances of that.
Well, first I would like to start with our game night here. I would love to see a female head coach at Wilson Central High School. I think that females have the same cognitive abilities to coach a team and to take them to the state and win a championship. With that being said, I believe the NFL could also stand to have some female defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators. I just think that it would be best for our team, for our sports to branch out. I know within the soccer community, there are some, female coaches and female refs. So just to see more of the female dynamic to come on to the, coaching arena, I think it would best serve everyone.
Because it hasn't happened this year. We know a lot of coaches have their tenure, but I do see it happening in the foreseeable future at some point.
Absolutely. Especially being the next Pat Summit of football. Wouldn't that be awesome? That would be a phenomenal thing to happen here in this area, and something that has never happened before. So I would like for us to see the first in this area to have a female head coach, football head coach.
And right now, I feel like it's more of a mindset thing than anything else. But when you really look at it, if you have the skill and you have the brains for the sport, why not give them the opportunity?
Absolutely. I think that right now everyone is afraid to break the mold and to step out and try something new and fresh. But I believe once that it is tried and there is some success there, I believe other people would definitely jump on the train.
You mentioned Group of Five, Power Five, SEC, NFL. If anything, I see it really kickstarting in the NFL. You're as a professional level organization, maybe that's something you do to show that you have the ability to be diverse when it comes to coaching staff.
Absolutely. What is your take on a female coach?
I think I see it happening. It'll probably be at the professional level first, just because the NFL has that kind of pull that they want to be diverse. And then it'll make its way to an SEC school, Power 5, Group of 5.
Yes.
And
I
see
don't know
it
about an SEC. I don't know. I'm still kind of leery about the SEC, especially with my team being Tennessee. We're struggling this season. Well, we've struggled for the past 5 seasons, but, hopefully that we'll come out of that too. So what is your take on this upcoming Friday? This Friday, Wilson Central playing Hendersonville.
We know Hendersonville's coming in right now. They got a chip on their shoulder after a rocky start to the season. And we know Wilson Central's got a chip on their shoulder of their own after the past couple of weeks. Really, right now, I say we come out, we play the same defense we know how to play, and we show back up on offense. We should be able to walk out with a win.
I think it's going to be the clash of the Titans. As always, I am biased to the Wilson Central Wildcats. I know that we're going to pull off a win. I think last week we struggled in some areas, but as you saw Coach Dedman and Coach Eric and the other coaching staff, they went in, halftime, made some adjustments, and I think ultimately with Mount Juliet and Gallatin, we shut them down, and they didn't think that we were going to be able to compete. So I think we showed up and showed out these past 2 Fridays.
Well, we'd like to thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
We'll wrap things up here. Of course, Friday night, Wilson Central at Hendersonville. You can watch that live on the NFHS Network or follow Twitter at WCSN16 for consistent updates for live events. And until next time, on behalf of everybody here at WCSN, we wish you a good night.